The first part of Reel 2 starts on August 27, 1966. We've just got off the ship, the Empress of Canada, at Montreal, and we're now on a train from Montreal to Ottawa. All our worldly possessions are also on the train with us. This was an observation car with tinted glass. Well, Wendy and I were very taken by it. It was quite a thrill to be driving with this wonderful view. Here's an all too short shot of my good friend Charles Kenny from Belfast. Been a close friend since the mid-1950s. Wish that shot had been longer. Here's one of Mum trudging through the Ottawa snow with the fast-flowing Ottawa River behind her. Winter in Ottawa was very beautiful. It was crisp, very cold, clear, and not at all like Michigan, which tended to be dull and rather slushy. Here the snow was white and powdery, temperatures very low so it didn't melt. So cold you had to plug your car into a block heater, otherwise it would never have started in the morning. Lots of sports occurred on the snow. This looks a good way to get really hurt. This is on a frozen, I guess it's on the frozen Rideau Canal, but I'm not sure about that. It's certainly on frozen water. Ottawa was sufficiently cold that there was no danger associated with driving cars on top of frozen lakes. This is what it looked like. Very, very pretty. Not at all like this slushy, dirty experience of a Michigan winter. But much more severe. Snow removal was quite a problem, as you can see. It's piled up so high that there's less roadway, and difficult to see over, and you needed slots in it every so often where the pedestrians could get through. Very different experience. And this is Aylmer. Ottawa was in Ontario. Aylmer's in the French-speaking province of Quebec, just across the Ottawa River. Ontario on one side, Quebec on the other. Other streets in Ottawa. This is why Ottawa was chosen as the federal capital, because it's adjacent to the other big province. It's actually in the province of Ontario. It's not like Washington, D.C., where they created a special district for it. It is in Ontario. Oh, and I remember that intersection so well on the way to work. This is what one had to do commuting to work every day. First thing was to get your car drivable. You had to plug in a block heater overnight, otherwise it would never have started the next morning. And it was outdoors, so you generally had to scrape ice off it, which was a laborious, not to mention cold operation. And there we're driving up Parliament Hill in the winter of 1966 to 67. 1967 was a very special year to Canada. Tremendous celebrations. It was the centennial of Confederation. Canada came into being when Queen Victoria signed the British North America Act on July 1, 1867, and that date is reckoned to be the birth of Canada. So they celebrate July 1, not July 4, and celebrate it with fireworks and that sort of stuff. It's the Ottawa River, lots of snow. It's the trip to work again. As you can see, the Morris Oxford, snow covered. That's the observation lookout we saw in summer. And snow removal was a fairly major undertaking. Here, slots are being cut in the Ottawa River. I think this is just in the Rideau River. Let me say that, the Rideau River. I think it's just upstream from Rideau Falls. It's to relieve the pressure so that the ice doesn't do unpleasant things when it expands. And there we see what Rideau Falls looks like in midwinter. Very beautiful. The water winding its way between the ice. And here's Mum out walking in this slot cut in such deep snow. A lot of flicker there despite the deflickering program. I'm not sure why it is flickering so much. There's Mum with the Voigtlander Vitamatic 2A camera I purchased in Belfast in 1960 for £58 sterling. A lot of money. Terrific camera. Here we are on the way to Montreal in February 1967. We went there to get our papers to come to the US. I already had been hired by General Motors. And when we were there, we went to the Forum, the very famous hockey rink, home then of the Montreal Canadiens, and we went to see them play Boston. I took loads and loads of movies of this, and this is one occasion where I have done fairly severe editing, because I can't imagine you really want to see an ancient game that at the time was of no great consequence, and to see these pictures when you can watch it in high definition TV, what is current today. So I spared you much of the movies we shot on this. It's the Boston Bruins versus the Canadiens. I've forgotten who won, but the crowd was certainly far from impartial. Montreal was actually our first stop on the way to Quebec City, which we'll see later in the next part of this Reel 2. Because here we end the first part of Reel 2. It's the end of Reel 2A.